Hi friends, hi Coulter, it's Nonna. I have a bedtime story for you tonight with a little bear. This is an imagination library book that just arrived. It is called A Bedtime Yarn by Nicola Winstanley and Olivia Mueller. Once upon a time, in a village by the sea, there lived a little bear named Frankie. He slept in his own little room, in his own little bed, and fell asleep each night, listening to the faint click, click of his mother's knitting needles as a ball of yarn unraveled in his paws. His mother would sit in her cozy chair by the fire as she worked the other end of the wool, listening to music with the cat on her knee. Every few days the ball of yarn would shrink to nothing, and Frankie's mother would give him a new one. Each ball was as soft and smooth as the one before, and each ball was a different color. Frankie's favorite yarn was a smooth morning sky blue, but every color had a story. One night, Frankie held a cool, foamy sea green that led him to deep underwater caverns. On another, he bravely gripped a bright orange and black striped tiger's tail. See the yarn around the outside. And later, he wrapped his fingers around a flickering red flame that didn't hurt him at all. Once he held an ice-cold ball of snow. That'd be white yarn. And once he brushed his cheek with a damp gray fog. He cupped his palms around turquoise and cream speckled eggs. Shows the color of the yarn around the outside. And gently patted a marmalade kitten. It's like a light orange. He smelled the tangy scent of the bright green lawn where he played barefoot in the summer. And he sniffed the yellow dandelions that covered the grass in the spring. The day before his birthday, his mother gave him a rich brown that made Frankie hungry for cake. Oh, that looks good, doesn't it? Big cupcake. Cake. Ooh, yum. Without the yarn, Frankie had been afraid to sleep. He didn't know where the darkness would take him. And if it took him too far, how would he ever get back? Holding the yarn, Frankie felt anchored like the boats in the bay, bobbing and drifting, but not floating away. Frankie's mother would not show him what the click-click of her needles was making. A surprise, said his mother. It will be finished when you are ready to let go of your last ball of yarn. Night after night, the vivid colors passed through Frankie's fingers as he slept. But over time, his curiosity grew with his legs, until after many months, it overcame his fear. "Mama, I'm getting to be a big boy." "Yes," said his mother. "I'm still a little bit afraid, but I'm ready to let go of the yarn. I want to see what we've made." "Then I think it's time for one last ball," said his mother. That night, Frankie held on to the invisible yarn his mother had placed in his paw and closed his eyes. The next morning, just as the sun began to shine through the window, Frankie woke and stretched and looked down to see that he was covered in a blanket that shimmered and rippled with every color he had held in his hand. Look at all those colors. Whoa. The colors ran together in surprising shapes and patterns as they do in dreams. Frankie gazed at the blanket, and in the colors of its fabric he saw the sky and the sea, tigers and flames, bright white snow and sweet green grass, dotted with dandelions, delicate eggs, fluffy kittens, and sweet chocolate cake. Frankie saw that no matter how far away he floated in his dreams, this blanket, like a magic carpet, would always bring him back to his own little bed. That night, Frankie kissed his mother, snuggled under his blanket, and fell asleep, his paws empty of yarn and his head full of all the wonderful dreams he and his mother had knitted up together. Isn't that a lovely story? So sometimes we need something to fall asleep with. And he always had that ball of yarn. And then eventually he let it go. And he was willing to let it go. And he ended up with a beautiful blanket made by his mom in the end. I hope you enjoyed that story. Have a good night. Good night, friends. Good night, Coulter. Mwah.